And it's red in the center and blue all around, with a ribbon of gold in between. And it's bigger than Texas and flatter than Spain, and it's the best country I've ever seen.
It all started while I was going down the Strzelecki track, pronounced Strelecki by the Polish incidentally, but about halfway along I came upon Monte Postcard, where for reasons you can't tell by watching television, I decided it was high time I had a tub, and then I thought I'd catch a few yabbies. I've murdered my billy to do this, just punched a few holes in the bottom, and sacrificed a piece of bacon. So then it was just a matter of sitting in the sun and waiting. It's very pleasant. And that running water behind me makes me want to go to the toilet. There should be something in there by now. But the wait was in vain. Indeed, only the shell ducks and the avocets looked like getting a feed out of this bore, so I carried on down the ever-changing Strzelecki. Then at Copley, I happened to mention my quest for a feed of yabbies, and before I knew it, I was whisked away by two of their finest.
My name's William McCarthy. I'm from Copley, South Australia, and we're locals to this area, and we're out here to catch some yabbies. Then we got 2 yabby and shrimp nets.
Do you think there's a problem with my billy?
Don't know. We'll find out later on.
We will. Then Brother Emery revealed the secret bait.
Just a normal bar of soap. Most people think they eat meat because they are carnivores, but they're actually herbivores, and they eat the meat to try and get it out of their habitat.
Is that right? I didn't know that. There, you taught me something. Which is not hard to do, really. Now, what do you think of my chances of getting on that raft out there?
I reckon it's a homemade raft made by locals, and it should work.
Hey, I'm taking off. That wasn't part of the plan. I'm pleased about that. Okay. So how long do we leave them in the water?
Roughly an hour.
And then you guarantee there'll be yabbies in there?
Well, we hope there's going to be yabbies in there.
But our hopes were dashed as pot after pot came up empty. Even the billy failed. There was talk of too much water in the dam, sending the yabbies to ground. But these country kids will tell you anything. And it wasn't until I got to Wave Rock at Hayden in WA that the story was completed. In fact, we were so confident here that we built the fire first. So you're confident we'll get some yabbies, Damon?
I am, but let me tell you, I have not done this in winter before.
Dougie, you've been the designated expert here, Doug.
Designated expert, yeah.
You know they're in there, don't you?
Oh, there's thousands in there. But what they do, they go down in the mud this time of year.
Yeah.
So getting them out is another trick.
But you will swim for them if they don't.
Yeah, he will.
Dougie will.
And as the fire burnt, the moment of truth arrived.
To be quite honest, we're not that confident about this one.
Now you're hedging your bets.
There's a reason for that. I didn't throw it in far enough, see?
In the middle of the night.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Gotta win.
So the pressure's off, mate?
I had no doubts whatsoever. I knew we were going to get yabbies, and I was just having on.
And yabbies we got. Somebody was saying they only clean out the meat so it doesn't go rotten and pollute their water, is that right?
Yeah, contaminate it.
So they don't actually eat for pleasure?
No, they're vegetarian, so a lot of leaves, whatever washes in, they'll eat.
Well, it seems unjust that we eat them for pleasure and they don't get any pleasure out of their eating.
Not a fair deal, is it really? No.
You don't want to be... So you'd never have a beer with these things?
No, never.
No. You'd sit out here and maybe have a glass of water or milk or something?
Yeah, you never sit back and have a couple of beers. And.
So, I've come halfway across the country for this moment. They better be good, boys.
That'd be beautiful.
Possibly the dumbest yabbies in Australia, given the placement of some of those traps. But, not bad, nice and clean. They're not muddy.
I had this backpacker tell me that this is Australia, you know, sitting out in the back blocks in the middle of nowhere, catching yabbies, and he's having a beer and he said, this is Australia. This is what I've come to see.
And it's red in the center and blue all around, with a ribbon of gold in between. And it's bigger than Texas and flatter than Spain, and it's the best country I've ever seen.